Ho there, wayfarer, stop a while. Pull up a stool and have a cup of nut brown ale with me while I tell you tales of the road ahead. Yes, that is I, Matthew Dawkins of the Onyx Path News. We meet again, and we meet on this fortuitous day to discuss the last week's news. What indeed happened over the last week, and why does my camera everything looks so washed out right now? I don't really know. Everything's either very dark or very pale. I'm at risk of looking like Uncle Fester. Anyway, but with glasses. Last week we released, they came from Beneath the Sea's Tasty Bit, North Herald Beach. North Herald Beach they came from Tasty Bit, only costs $1.99, that equips you with VTT maps, a source book with story hooks and antagonists in, and this is the first of this year's VTT focused Tasty Bits. Now, VTT isn't all we're doing, I should hasten to add. But one of our ideas, one of our hopes, is that as a lot of people are doing virtual gaming now, they will find use from us, including new maps, new counters, and things like that with every single product. You'll still find this book, they came from North Herald Beach, useful even if you don't play on VTT, because you still get a map, you still get your story hooks, still get your antagonists, still get your counters, and you can play with them at the table instead. But if you are someone who plays online, now this is a source book that is specifically good for someone like you. So this is by wonderful author Steffi Devan, developed by my lovely colleague Eddie Webb, and maybe one of the very first They Came From books I had very little involvement in. So nevertheless, I will recommend it, and at only $1.99 is definitely worth picking up. I mean, you can't say that $1.99 is a bad deal for anything, let alone when it has new art in it. So moving on from that, we also launched Realms of Pugmire on Kickstarter last week, and of course we hit our funding. I say of course, it's never a guaranteed thing. We always hope, we pray, we watch, we cross our fingers and our toes and any other extremities that are capable of being crossed, and we want our projects to succeed quickly so that we can start hitting our stretch goals, all the various things we have planned as possibilities to follow up the release of a book. Realms of Pugmire funded, I think, within maybe 48 hours, I would like to say. And since then, it's been gathering steam, it's been building more support. We're going to be sending more feelers out, getting more actual plays, doing more interviews wherever we can. If you have a website, a blog, a podcast, or anything like that, and you want to interview Eddie Webb or anyone on the design team for Realms of Pugmire, we would love to hear from you. Do use the form below in the video description, which is also where you can find the links to Realms of Pugmire and North Herald Beach, to contact us and invite Eddie or one of the team onto your show. Doesn't matter how big or how small, we're happy to provide you with our time. We want to get word of this game out there. We're very happy that it's funded. Let's see how many stretch goals we can knock off the list as well. Hello to my live audience of Elaine, who always tunes in. Your patronage to the Onyx Path News is, and I know I realize I say that in an American way, but I think it sounds better than patronage. I appreciate it. Hello, Nicholas. Always lovely to see you, Nicholas. And hello, Big Sarge, our most dedicated of viewers on the Onyx Path YouTube channel is Big Sarge. Big Sarge comments on pretty much every single video. I do wonder, do I know you and you're going under a different name? Or are you just that much of a fan of what we do that you want to say hi on everything or give a thumbs up? Whatever the case is, Big Sarge, I appreciate it. I love that you watch so much of our content and engage with it. So thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who watches these things live. Obviously, this week on Wednesday, we will release something new. We release something new every single Wednesday at Onyx Path. And as I've got a little bit of time before I go into the Monday meeting this week, I thought I would talk to you about something slightly interesting. You see, I've been working on the World Below, which is our new fantasy story path game. In some places, I've heard it described as the first fantasy story path game. I suppose it depends on how you see they came from the Cyclops' cave. I guess that's the first fantasy cinematic story path game, if you want to be very specific about it. And what I've been doing with the World Below recently is I've been getting a lot of feedback from our much beloved creative director, Rich Thomas, as well as the incredibly talented Danielle Lauzon. And they've been giving some wonderful insights from a development standpoint, a saleability standpoint, a view of what might work, what might put people off, things that when you're actually working in the trenches on a game, you can become quite blind to. And I think this feedback has been some of the greatest I've had on any game. I'm never adverse to criticism. There's been a lot of compliments as well. Don't worry, they've not been tearing it apart. And hello, Velvet Tea Cake. But some directions are changing. Nothing major, nothing that hasn't already been kept under wraps. Some things are going to be elaborated on. For the most part, though, what you will be pleased to hear if you're anticipating the World Below is it's a game where a lot of the concepts we've got in play are going to be expanded. I think one of the greatest pieces of advice that I've received in the form of feedback on the World Below so far is I want to see more of this, and players will want to see more of this too. That's really encouraging to me as a game designer, a developer, or what have you, because if the person reading it from a view of can we make this, can we sell this, wants to hear more, it means you're on the right track. So without spoiling too much, you will, of course, have plentiful monsters. You will have plentiful environmental hazards. You will have dungeons. You will have ruins. You will have many, many peoples and their settlements. A very robust and detailed, but not complex, magical system as well that plays with the elements, mostly chaos, as chaos is a liquid and solid thing that exists within the world below. I suppose gaseous as well. And your affinity for chaos will, I guess, assist you in how you practice your craft. And as chaos does in many a game, but I'm always keen to experiment with it, there is the possibility of retaliations. There's the possibility of your magic going awry, your art, your spell casting, your sorcery, call it what you like, you using it and things maybe being a little more impactful than you hope, or having an unexpected side effect. You will find shades of wild magic, of sorcery in that. And I always think it's something that's fun to play with, which is why it's in the world below, which is an inherently unstable place, I would say. Anyway, do look forward to that. Alistair, hello, and hello, Nicholas. You want to know more about spirits? Spirits exist in the world below, and I'm sure we will deliver more on them as time goes on. Some are indeed spirits of the dead, and some are more elemental in nature, I suppose is best way to put it. But for now, I will bid you adieu as I have a Monday meeting to get to, and thank you very much for watching. Do pick up North Herald Beach and do support us on Kickstarter with Realms of Pugmire. See you next week.